Welcome to our last class, where I will try to take you through a gentle vinyasa flow class, which is generally what I teach in the other classes. And the main difference is in the other open classes, it's very similar sequences, but the pace is a little bit faster. So for you guys today, we'll try and take the pace easy. I will always give you easier, gentler options, and I encourage you to try and take those gentler options. If something hurts, if something doesn't feel quite right, if you're not feeling 100% today, take it easy. Don't feel like you have to push yourself to your absolute limit, or you have to do what everyone else is doing. You have to do what I'm doing. Always do what feels right for you. So for many of my classes, I usually do start out with a seated warm-up. So if you are uncomfortable with your legs crossed in front of you, you might try sitting up on a set of blocks. And then for some of you, that makes it easier for you to cross your feet in front. If you're comfortable sitting on the floor, just stay seated on the floor. But this is a good option for those of you who have tight hips to try and open up the front of the legs and bring the knees down. Let's all cross our legs so that the right foot is either in front or on top. And close your eyes to try and get a sense of where your head is relative to your hips. So for most of us, our head is usually slightly forward of the hips. So start to lean back to the point where you feel like your knees are lifting, your belly has to engage, and then come slightly forward of that, where the knees can relax and your belly is a little softer, so that the head feels light and nicely balanced at the top. Breathing deeply, trying to imagine that as you breathe, you are expanding your ribcage in 4 directions: to the front, to the back, to the left, and to the right. Can you hear your breath? Breath awareness is the first stage of meditation, and soothing the nerves, calming the mind, settling your thoughts. And so when we go through the practice, we try to stay connected with the breath. And so if at any point your breath becomes halted or fast-paced or nervous, then that's an indication that you've gone too far. You need to pull back just a little bit so that your breath is steady and calm and easy to maintain. Now from here, open your eyes, interlace the fingers in front of you. Inhale, raise the arms up. And then exhale, release the shoulders, but keep the arms high. So can you soften posture a little bit? And now start to lean to the right, going through lateral flexion and extension. And then release the right arm, see if you can go a little bit further. Then from here, we'll move into a rotation, bringing the left hand over to the right knee, supporting yourself from behind with a strong right arm, turning your chin to the right shoulder. Keep the left hand where it is as you raise the right arm, leaning over, taking the left shoulder towards the left knee, getting a long stretch under the right arm and on the right side of the rib cage. Now keep the left hand where it is, cross the right arm over to the left thigh, squeeze the arms in front of the chest as you tuck the chin and curl the spine forward. And notice how when you breathe, you expand the back and the rib cage, because the front of the rib cage is compressed. And then inhale, start to raise yourself up, interlace the fingers behind, lifting the chin and the chest, strengthening the back, stretching the front of the body, holding there for another breath, and then exhale, start to release. Change the cross of your legs. So now the left foot is either in front or on top. Changing the interlace of your fingers, pressing the palms away from you. Inhale, raise the arms up. On the exhale, see if you can soften the shoulders and the neck a little bit. So the arms are still active, but the posture is just a little bit softer. And now start to lean to the left, stretching the right side of the body, and then release the left arm. See if you can go a little bit further. Still trying to hang on to that slow, steady breath. Then from here we come up into the rotation. So picking yourself up, placing the right hand over on the left thigh. Support yourself from behind with a strong left arm as you turn your chin to your left shoulder. Trying to keep that middle back in. Trying to keep the spine nice and long and tall. Now keep the right hand where it is as you bring the left hand around to the right thigh, crossing the arms in front of the chest, tucking the chin, stretching the middle and upper back. The further forward you go, you start to stretch the lower back. But it is harder to breathe because we're compressing the front of the chest, so you have to breathe deeply into the back of the chest. The back, rather. Now on the inhale, we're going to start to go the opposite way. Extension, lifting the chin and the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together, stretching the front of the chest, stretching the front of your shoulders, even stretching the front of your neck a little bit. Holding there for another breath. And then exhale, start to release. Okay, so now we're going to start with sun salutations. We will take the easiest, gentlest sun salutation first, and then we will add on progressively harder variations. And then what happens in a typical vinyasa flow style class is we sort of stay with that sun salutation and throw in other standing poses. But remember, I will give you different options for transitioning. So listen closely when I give you those three options. And the three options are, I'll tell you, go ahead and just swap feet. The second option is you go straight to downward facing dog. The third option is you do the full vinyasa where you go high plank, down to low plank, up to the back bend, and press back to downward dog. Anyway, we'll get to that after we've gone through a few sun salutations. So the gentlest sun salutation starts with the feet about hip-width apart. Check to see that your feet are mostly parallel to each other and your feet aren't turning out. Spinning the thumbs away from you. Inhale, raise the arms up, gazing up at your thumbs. Exhale into your forward bend. Now feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to. Let the head hang. Give the head a little bit of a shake. Help the neck to release. It's been holding your head up all day. And then inhale, halfway lift. Place the hands firmly down as you step back to high plank, coming down onto the knees. Now try to hold the plank as you lower down. See if you can bring your pubic bone and your chest down at the same moment. Relaxing the feet, lifting the chin and the chest. Going as high as you comfortably can. If you can straighten the arms, straighten the arms. Otherwise, we hold there about halfway. Now taking the toes together, knees apart, as you sit back on your heels. Resting the head down, stretching the arms forward into Adho Mukha Virasana. Spreading the fingers. Now, if this is causing any shoulder pain, then please bring the elbows down to the floor. But if your shoulders feel pretty good, Then we try to get that stretch under the arm, around the triceps, around the rib cage. Trying to press the hips back onto the heels. Resting the head down on the floor if you can. If you can't, maybe you could place a block there, but we're only going to be here just for another moment. And then when you're ready, come on up to all fours. Bring your right leg to the front, then the left leg. Inhale, halfway lift. That's just looking at the floor in front of you. Exhale, forward bend, looking between your knees. Soft behind the knees. Pull from the hips as you start to raise yourself up. Arms overhead. And exhale, arms down. All right. Second sun salutation. You can stay with your feet hip width apart, or you can move your feet together. Toes together, heels together, a little gap between the ankle bones. Spinning the thumbs away from you. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, gazing at your knees or your belly button. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Place the hands firmly down as you step back to high plank. Knees down. Now you can lower down to your belly, or I challenge you to lower down to elbow height. And then inhale, pushing up to your back bend. Knees can still be down, or you can pick the knees up if you like. But we're on top of the feet, so you're pointing the toes. Now we're going to stay on the knees. Knees are hip width apart, feet are hip width apart. Keep the hips high over the knees as you walk the hands forward into Anahatasana. If you need to rest your head on a block, rest your head on a block. Because this one requires even more shoulder mobility than the last one. Some of you will easily go into a back bend. Those of you with tight shoulders will not. So listen to your shoulders. Would they be screaming at you right now? Or would they say, that feels pretty good. We like that stretch. If they would be screaming at you, then bring the elbows down or place your head on a block. Because it's the weight of the head that's bringing you further down. So if to the ground is too far, give yourself a little height. Now whether you go soft in the belly to get the back bend, or you hold some core strength in the belly to keep the spine nice and straight, it's sort of up to you. I give my students both options. And then from here, bring the wrists back under the shoulders, coming up to all fours. This time we'll bring the left foot to the front, then the right foot to the front. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Soft behind the knees. Pull from the hips as you raise yourself up. Arms overhead. And exhale, arms down. All right, last sun salutation. A little faster pace. Spinning the thumbs away from you. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hop or step back, lower straight down, either knees up or knees down to your belly or to elbow height. And then inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog on tops of the toes, rolling over the toes. The toes start the movement as you push the front of the mat away, stretching the back of the legs. If you feel too stretched out, then maybe you need to walk your feet in a little bit. The feet should be about hip width apart. Spreading the soles of the foot. Now this is a pretty intense hamstring stretch, so if you need to bend your knees, please bend your knees. If you feel like moving your legs, move your legs. It doesn't need to be static, especially now. If this is your first downward facing dog of the day, maybe warm your body up to it a little bit. Your body needs to adjust and to adapt to new things. And for some of you, downward facing dog is still a relatively new thing. But stay strong in the arms, squeezing the inner elbows in towards each other, pushing the front of the mat away, spreading the whole palm into the mat. Now taking a big inhale there, exhale, as you bring the right foot forward to the front of the mat, then the left foot forward. If you need to take a few steps, take a few steps. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, all the way up. And exhale. Okay, so this is what starts to happen in a vinyasa flow class. From that downward facing dog, other standing poses and balances start to get thrown in. But if you are done doing downward dog or chaturanga dandasana, upward dog, you can cut those out now at this stage. And I'll explain when we get to that point. I'll start giving you options. All right, so in making your decision, feet together or feet apart, spinning the thumbs away from you in Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva. Exhale, Uttanasana, gazing at your knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Now's your first choice. You can stay right here in the forward bend. Number 2, you could go straight to downward facing dog. Or number 3, you can go from high plank down to low plank. Inhale, up to the back bend. Exhale, pressing back to downward facing dog. So those are your options for transitioning. Now, for those of you in downward facing dog, which looks like I've got all of you there, we're going to raise actually, let's come down onto our knees because I just want to demonstrate. Some of you need to come down onto your knees to get the right foot forward between the hands. So I just wanted to point that out because some of you can go straight from downward dog and bring the right foot through. Some of you cannot. So for everyone, we all come down to the knees. We all bring the right foot forward. Next time around, though, I'll give you the option of trying to bring the right foot straight through. Pick the left knee up. Turn the left heel down to the center of the mat. And come up for Virabhadrasana 2 on the right. Gazing out over your right fingertips, check in with your right knee, that your knee is in line with the foot, and the arms are mostly horizontal to the floor. Open the right palm, raise the right arm, sliding the left hand down to the knee, but if that's too far, then take the left hand to your hip. Get a long stretch on the right side of the body. Wrapping the left arm around and behind your lower back. Exhale as you bring the right forearm to the thigh and turn your chin to your left shoulder. For those of you who can go deeper in the lunge, that means you can take your hip to knee height. You can probably take your right hand down to a block or to the floor. Looking over the left shoulder, raise the left arm up to vertical. Spin the palm towards you so that you can see your hand, the palm, and then take the arm overhead. See if you can point your little pinky down towards the floor. So the arm overhead goes by your ear or cheekbone. That's it. Yeah. So you get a long stretch around the triceps as you're reaching beyond with the left arm. Try to be light on the right arm or the right hand by being strong in the right leg. Now from here we're going to add on a balance. So shift your weight into the right leg, bring the left foot to it. You should be facing the windows, the black curtain. Standing on your left leg, place your right foot on your inner calf or on the inner thigh if you can get that knee a bit higher. Either keeping your hands close to you on your hips or taking the arms out to the side and raising the arms up into Vrikshasana, tree pose. Find something steady that you can focus on, something that's not moving, like the person in front of you. Settle the breath. Sometimes in balances we tend to hold the breath because we expect to fall. Now when we come out of this posture, we go back to the pose we were just in. So bringing the right foot down, release the arms, take the left leg back where it was, bringing your right hand down to the floor or your forearm to the thigh, raise the left arm up overhead into Utthita Parshvottanasana, extended side stretch. From here we go to reverse warrior, strong in the right leg. Inhale, raise the right arm, sliding the left hand down to the knee. And this is where you need to think about your transition. The easiest transition is to step forward and swap feet. So your left foot comes forward, your right foot goes back. Second option, you bring the hands down and press straight back into downward dog. Third option goes high plank, down to low plank. Inhale, up for the back bend, and exhale back for downward dog. From downward facing dog, last time we came down on the knees, so let's come onto the knees, bring the left foot forward, pick the right knee up, spin the right heel down to the center of the mat, and come up for Virabhadrasana 2 on the left. Checking in with your knee, that your knee is mostly over the ankle. Your arms are mostly horizontal, gazing out over your left fingertips. Open the left palm, raise the left arm, sliding the right hand down to the knee or to the hip for a reverse warrior. And now wrapping the right arm behind your lower back. Exhale as you bring the left forearm to your thigh, looking over your right shoulder. If you can take your hip lower to knee height, then you can probably take the left hand to the floor or to a block. Again, looking over the right shoulder, take your right arm up to vertical, spin the palm towards you so that you can see your palm, and then take the arm overhead by your cheekbone. Pinky is pointing down towards the floor. So it gives you that little extra stretch around the triceps, under the arm. Try to be light on the left arm by being strong in the left leg. Now remember, we're adding on the balance from here. So start to shift the weight into your left leg. Bring your right foot to it, facing the white wall. Standing on your right leg, place your left foot on your inner calf. Or if you can get your knee a little higher, maybe place the foot on the inner thigh. Find something steady to focus on, either keeping your hands close to you or reaching the arms out and taking them overhead. Whether the hands are apart or together is up to you. This is tree pose, so you can be any kind of tree you want to be. Your tree doesn't have to look like everyone else's. Keeping the breath steady, keeping your focus fixed. When you're ready to shift, we bring the left foot down, take the right leg back. Moving back into Utthita Parshvottanasana, extended side stretch, turning your chin to the right shoulder. And then strong in the left leg, reverse warrior, raise the left arm, but keep the lunge in the left leg. Now think about your transition. Either step to the front of the mat into a forward bend, press back to downward facing dog, or exhale as you press down for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale as you push up for Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and exhale as you press back for Adho Mukha Svanasana. From downward facing dog, we hop, step, or walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, all the way up. And exhale, arms down. All right. I've been doing a few different things with my arms. You may have noticed. Do whatever feels right for you. It's up to you. So you see how it was still a sun salutation, but some other poses got thrown in. So we're going to try to do 2 more of those, slightly faster pace. If you need a break, take a break. Skip a pose, it's all right. Okay, so when you're ready, let's add in powerful pose. Bend the knees, inhale, raise the arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward bend, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. You can just stay here in the forward bend if you need a break. Number 2, you could step back to downward facing dog, or number 3, go from high plank, exhale down to low plank, inhale up for the back bend, exhale, press back for downward facing dog. Now we're going to go back to warrior 2, so you can come down onto your knees if you need to. Otherwise, raise the right leg up behind you. Hug that knee into the chest as you bring the right foot forward between the hands, left heel down. Inhale up, Virabhadrasana 2 on the right. Open the right palm. Inhale, Viparita Virabhadrasana. Raise the right arm. Wrap the left arm behind the lower back. But listen carefully. Now we're going to straighten the right leg. So keep the right leg straight as you bring the right hand down either to the top of your hip or to your shin or even to a block. Looking over the left shoulder, take the left arm up to vertical. To be light on the right leg, you need to create lift on the left side of the body. So the left side of the body is quite strong and active in this posture. Now from here, we add on a different balance, and I have to stay up here on my mat, so some of you won't be able to see, so you might have to turn to look. Start to shift the weight forward onto the right leg. See if you can just balance on your right leg for a moment. No hands, no left foot, just kind of hanging out there on your right leg. Now, you can stay here if you like. You're in a balance, just test your balance there. Those of you who want to go further into Ardha Chandrasana, you bring your right hand lightly down onto a block or onto the floor, and then start to energize the left leg. So strong in the left leg. The left leg is the counterweight that's pulling you back. Your head and your torso are pulling you forward towards the floor. If you feel steady, then you turn the head and chest and take the left arm up to vertical. But that's the icing on the cake. If you don't feel steady, then keep looking at the floor. Now, when we come out of this posture, we go back to the pose we were just in, Utthita Trikonasana. So looking at the floor, start to bend the right leg, make your way back. Placing the left foot down, start to straighten the right leg as you turn and take the left arm back up to vertical. Settle the breath. And then when you're ready to come up, start to bend the right knee, reverse warrior, start to raise the right arm. Now think about your transition. Either step forward and swap feet to take warrior on the left side. Second option, press back to downward facing dog. Third option, high plank down to low plank, up for the back bend, and back for downward dog. Now for those of you in downward dog, if you need to get down onto your knees, come down onto your knees. Otherwise, raise the left foot up, bring the left foot forward between the hands, turn the right heel down. Inhale up, Virabhadrasana 2 on the left. Settle the breath. Open the left palm. Inhale, reverse warrior. Wrap the right arm around and behind. As you start to straighten the left leg, bring the left hand down either to the top of your hip, to your shin, or to a block. Whether that block is at its tallest height or its middle height is up to you. Turning your chin to the right shoulder, take your right arm up to vertical. If that is uncomfortable for your neck, then you might look in front of you or turn the head down towards the floor. Now remember to try and be light on the left leg by being strong on the right side of the body, as if you're holding onto a rope up there with your right arm. Now you know the balance that's coming up next. You know what it looks like. Try to visualize yourself in the balance before you go there. Turn to look at the floor in front of your left foot. Start to bend the left knee. Start to shift your weight onto that left leg, just balancing for a moment. No hands, no right foot. And then very lightly bring your left hand down to a block or to the floor. Once your hand is down, then start to energize the right leg. Try to open up the hips. And if you feel steady, then turn the head and chest and take the right arm up to vertical. Strong in the left leg, spreading the toes. Try not to hold your breath. Keep breathing steady. Now, when we come out, we go back to the pose we were just in. So looking at the floor, start to bend your left leg, take the right leg back. Moving back into Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Settle your breath. And then reverse warrior. Bend the left knee. Inhale, raise the left arm. Now think about your transition out of this vinyasa. Either step to the front of the mat into a forward bend, press back to downward dog, or number 3, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From downward facing dog, hop, step, or walk to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Bend the knees deeply for powerful pose. Inhale, raise the arms up. And exhale, come to standing. All right, beautiful. Let's see how we're going with time. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more. With warrior one. So bend the knees, Utkatasana. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward bend. Stay here if you need a break. Otherwise, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, either to downward dog or high plank down to low plank. Inhale, up for the back bend. Exhale, rolling back for downward dog. This time, I'd like you to take your right foot outside the right wrist, so slightly wider stance. Left heel to the center of the mat. That's it, Tamar. Lifting the chin and the chest, facing the mirrors. Strong in the back leg. Squeezing the elbows behind you, lifting the chin and the chest. If your heart rate has gotten away from you, if you're breathing quite quickly, just keep the hands on the hips. If you're feeling pretty good, inhale, raise the arms up. Gazing up at your thumbs, either hands together, hands apart. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Settle the breath. Now we're going to add on warrior 3. It's a different kind of balance. If you'd like to try it, start to shift your weight onto the right leg, dragging the left toes behind you. Check to see that your knee and your toes are pointing down towards the floor, that they're not pointing off at an angle somewhere. Reaching the arms overhead, balancing on your right leg. You could just stay here. You're already in a balance. If you want to go further, then we start tipping forward, reaching the arms forward, trying to create more distance between the wrists and the heel for Virabhadrasana 3. Strong in the back. And then inhale, raise the arms, bend the right leg, take the left leg back to warrior 1. Settle the breath. And now think about your transition. Either step forward with the left foot, take the right leg back, or press back into downward dog, or exhale, pushing down. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, pressing back. Those of you in downward facing dog, bring the left foot outside the left wrist, right heel down to the center of the mat. Inhale, coming up for Virabhadrasana 1 on the left side. Facing the mirror, squeezing the elbows a little bit behind you, lifting the chin and the chest. Either keep the hands on the hips, or inhale, raise the arms up. Settle the breath. Now you know which balance is coming up next. You've already tried it. You know what to expect. It will hopefully come a little easier second time around. Start to shift your weight forward onto the left leg, dragging the right toes behind you. Toes and knee are pointing down towards the floor. Start to raise the arms up, stretching your body out, balancing on your left leg. Stay here or start to tip forward, taking the body to whatever angle is comfortable for you, but we try not to go beyond horizontal. The knee and the toes are still pointing down towards the floor. We want to try and keep the right hip at the same height as the left hip, so it's not noticeably higher. Now inhale, raise the arms, bend the left leg, take the right leg back to warrior 1, gazing upwards just for a moment, catching your breath. Now this could be your last downward facing dog, your last vinyasa. So if you're really tired, just step to the front of the mat into the forward bend. Those of you who want to take your last downward dog, either go straight there or exhale down for your last chaturanga dandasana. Inhale up for your last back bend. Exhale, pressing back for your last Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then from here, we're going to come down onto the knees, cross the ankles behind, and sit back. Okay. So we still have about 20 minutes, which is good because In the last class when we did seated poses, there were a lot of seated poses we didn't get to. And I don't know that we'll get to all of them today, but there was one in particular that I wish we had done. It was Gomukasan, cow face pose. And that is not the face you will make when you're in it. So you may wish to have a belt. I'll tell you why you may or may not need a belt. You need to be able to clasp your fingers behind your back. If that's not happening for you, then that's where the belt comes in. And honestly, you can grab the belt just about anywhere and drop it behind you and hold it. But just have it within reach for the moment. We haven't quite gotten there yet. The first part has a very twisty thing with the legs. And so for some of you, if the twisty thing with the legs isn't happening, then you're going to come back to this, just sitting in Sukhasana, and you're just going to do the arms. Okay. But let's start. So first we start on the knees, and move yourself a little bit to the right side of your yoga mat. Actually, so your left knee is about in the center of the mat. That's about where you want to be. So left knee is about in the center of the mat. Cross your right knee behind your left knee. Pull the feet apart, so separate your feet. And then we want to sit back between the feet. And if that's not happening for you, then take a block and maybe you can sit on the block. And if it is all just not happening at all, here's the other option for you. A straight right leg with your left leg crossed over. This still works. Okay? If you are sitting on one cheek, one hip, we want you to the point where you can sit on both hips. So either adjust your block or go to this variation with a straight right leg. Now, whichever leg variation you've chosen, the knee that's on the top is the arm that gets the tricep stretch. So let's all just start with a simple tricep stretch. And you could just stay here. But what you get by taking the right arm behind is a deltoid stretch. So if you want to get that and you know that you cannot clasp your fingers behind your back, go ahead and grab your belt anywhere. Drop it. Right arm internally rotate. So we spin that thumb down, take the arm behind and wiggle it up between the shoulder blades. It grabs the belt. Readjust your left arm if you can pick that elbow up, bringing that left arm close to your left ear. Now either stay where you are or exhale to the forward bend. So Gomukhasana, cow face. The cow face comes from your knees stacked together like the snout of the cow. And your feet are like the ears of the cow. So that's Gomukhasana. Holding steady just for another breath. And then exhale, start to come up. Releasing the arms. Those of you with a straight right leg, swap legs. Those of you with crossed legs, I'd like you to pick yourself up, start turning to the right, keep turning to the right, keep turning to the right, and then ta-da, the left leg is on top. Isn't that special? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always fun to try. But now everyone has the right knee on top, correct? Yeah, we're all good? Now, the arms. Right knee is on top, so the right elbow is going to go on top. So let's just start with the tricep stretch. Just holding steady there. And remember, as I said, you could just stay here. You can still take a forward bend like this. But if you want to try and add that left deltoid stretch, that left shoulder stretch, you need to be able to internally rotate that left shoulder, wiggle it around and behind and up in between the shoulder blades, If you're going to use the belt, raise the belt up, take it around behind, dropping the belt into your left hand. Now, can you do this crazy pose and still be calm and cool as a cucumber? Breathing steadily. Exhale into the forward bend. And then inhale, start to come up. Exhale, releasing the arms. And stretch your legs out in front. All right. The last seated pose that we're going to do, your soles of your feet are together, but they're slightly away from you. We're going to go forward and we're going to stay there for a while. So if you think you want to rest your head on something, you might want to have some blocks in front of you. Some of you will only need one block. And it's nice if you're able to wrap your arms under your legs. And then you can rest your head on a block or on your feet. Tuck the chin so the back of the neck can stretch a little bit. Don't try to hold the head up. That's partly why resting the head on a block or two helps the neck to relax. And then inhale, start to come up. We're going to lie on our backs, except for you, tomorrow you're going to stay upright for a moment. You'll do what I do. Okay, lying on your backs, knees bent, feet on the ground. Take a hold of your right knee and hug it in close to your chest. Whether it comes to the center of your chest or closer to your armpit is sort of up to you and how your hip feels. Sorry, I should have mentioned your belt needs to be within reach. Now from here, so the belly is soft, relaxing the lower back. I'd like you to take your belt around the sole of your foot. Wrap that belt around your hands a couple of times if it's easier to grip. And then take the right leg up overhead as straight as you can comfortably get it. And if you want a little extra challenge, try straightening the left leg. Trying to press the back of the left thigh down into the floor. So your pelvis is getting pulled in two different directions. The left hip is getting pulled down. The right hip is getting pulled up. Your right leg should be fairly soft. It's the left leg that is strong in this posture. Now take the belt into your right hand and then let the right leg drift off to the right a little bit or as far as you can comfortably take it. If you want to place it on a block, place a block there under your right leg. If you want a block but you can't get to it, raise a hand. I will come and bring a block to you to place under your right leg. That's still probably a bit low for you. Is that better? Yes. Try and keep the left hip down in contact with the floor. Now strong with the right arm. Inhale as you raise that right leg up. Swap hands with the belt And let the right leg drift a little bit, just a few degrees. No, not that far. Just a few degrees to the left so that you feel the stretch in the outer right hip. You don't need to go far generally to feel it. Usually just a few degrees across the midline and you feel the stretch in the outer right hip. And then when you're ready, bring the leg back to center, bend the right knee, bring the right leg down. Both knees are bent. We'll start on the left side, hugging the left knee into the chest. Right knee is bent if you like. Just bringing that knee either to the center of the chest or to the armpit. And then if you like, take the belt around the left foot, straightening the left leg as much as you comfortably can. Wrap the belt around your hands a couple of times if you need it for extra grip. And then if you want that extra challenge, straighten out the right leg, pressing the back of the right thigh down into the floor. Steady breathing. Strong in the core. Now take the belt into your left hand. Let the left leg drift over to the left. If you can, place it on a block. If not, let me know. I can come over and try to bring you a block or two. Sometimes having a block close to the hip helps. Like there, but do you want to go further? About there. Is that good? Do you want me to move this one? Do you want me to shift? No, it's not doing anything. Okay. Now strong with the left arm. Inhale as you raise that left leg up. Swap hands with the belt and let the leg drift a few degrees to the right. So you feel a strong stretch on the outer left hip. Just a few degrees past the midline. And then inhale back to center. Bend the knee. Hug both your knees in if you feel like stretching your lower back a little bit. Releasing the lower back. And then when you're ready, lying down for Shavasana. If your lower back feels tight, like it's gripping, perhaps keep your knees bent, knees together, feet wide apart. Tomorrow, hang out. I'm going to get you a bolster. Hang on. Okay, lie back. I might put a blanket under you. Go ahead. I need to see what you're fine. Sure. Maybe knees together, but feet apart. Nope, take the feet apart. There. Yeah. Unless you feel like going wide. Soles of the feet together, knees go out wide. Or stretch the legs out, whatever feels comfortable for you. Yeah. Bring the knees together, but take the feet apart. There you go. Observe the breath. Notice the quality of the breath. The coolness, the warmth. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. Notice the heaviness of your spine with each exhale. So with the inhale, there's effort, and with the exhale, there's release of effort. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring your thoughts back to this space, the sensations in the body at this time. Do you notice the beating of your heart in your chest? Can you sense your pulse in your ears? And now, before you come out of Shavasana, take a slow, steady breath in, and when you exhale, exhale through the mouth with a sigh, just letting the air go. And again, breathing in deeply. Start to bring some gentle movement into your hands and your feet, your arms and your legs. And keeping your eyes closed, but moving in any way that's comfortable for you. And then when you're ready, bend your knees and roll to your right side. Just resting there for a moment. And then use the strength of your arms to push yourself up to sitting, to a comfortable seated position, either with your eyes closed or your gaze downwards. Becoming aware of your posture, maybe leaning back just a little bit so that the head feels very light at the top of the spine. And then if you like, bringing the palms together as we bow. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening and for being so dedicated for all these weeks.